It's a great pleasure to be here in Muscat, and it's my second visit interacting with the chartered accountants here. It was in 2015 I came here to speak to the NRI community, especially the chartered accountants, about the reforms that were expected in the country. Today I'm here to speak about the blockchain technology and how it's going to disrupt the accounting and the auditing and economy at large. That's very important. Whenever I go to the platforms and when I say blockchain, the immediate question that comes to everyone is how much money I can make out of it. Because they are always moved by the Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not the blockchain. Blockchain is a concept which can transform some of the aspects, important aspects of the economy. This system of blockchain, what I'm trying to do in this session is not to make you a technology expert. And also you should remember, many speakers when they talk about the blockchain, they end up saying you will lose the job. But I'm not here to tell you that you'll lose the job, you'll reinvent your job. If losing your job was your forte, you should remember your CA final days. You had an SATP paper which you tried to pass. There used to be a punch card, which we never understood. We just read the study materials. I'm not belonging to that generation. In fact, I was interacting around senior members, and he said, you introduce the session with the SATP, they will understand. From the days of SATP, from the days of internet, when bits and bytes were being discussed, we never imagined that the world will transform to this level. When somebody spoke before 40 years about internet, you never believed. And somebody who had a foresight, when Bill Gates said every home will have a computer, we never could imagine that we will have. First time when you saw the computer, it was in an AC room where your boss said don't enter, right? Maybe in the school, whatever, right? So, but today, it has become accessible, it has come to your hands, and gone are the days where we thought we cannot communicate without a wire. Today we have a wireless connection. And you watch movies out of the mobile. So that's a kind of a technological disruption. But every technological disruption has reinvented our jobs, and it has not taken our jobs. And this technology will also provide multiple opportunity in the days to come. In fact, I had an opportunity in 2015 to be there in the World Economic Forum. But to be very fair, first time when I heard about this concept, it was here in World Economic Forum. They were speaking about blockchain and blockchain. Before that, I was just thinking that Bitcoin is one of the things that is there in the blockchain. Post, I came back from the World Economic Forum, and they said it can transform the world. I was thinking how a share market can transform the world or a Bitcoin can transform the world. Then I did a complete research on this area. Then I concluded blockchain has the power and the capacity to transform the world. I will take you through that. Before that, you should also understand, today we are in the brink of Industry 4.0. What is this Industry 4.0? Industry 4.0s are going to be, industries are going to be driven by super intelligence technologies. And automation, robotic process automation, and aggregation is happening. So you will see certain kind of a new business emerging, business models emerging, not the traditional ones, new business models emerging out of the Industry 4.0. In Industry 4.0, the digital infrastructure will be driven by the blockchain technology. The digital infrastructure of Industry 4.0 is going to be driven by blockchain technology. In fact, we have our chairman of the World Economic Forum. He has clearly said the fourth industrial revolution will affect the very essence of the human experience. You will have a different human experience, and you will understand the days to come. Our Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi, in one of his discussions, said, in a world that is full of fault lines and risks, we need to build a shared future. It is both philosophical as well as technology. What is blockchain? Blockchain is a simple technology to have a shared future. As simple as that. How it is going to be happening? And India is now a forerunner in adopting the technology. We had an opportunity. In fact, in India, we scrapped the Planning Commission. Today we have NITI Aayog, National Institution for Transforming India. The beauty of NITI Aayog is they actually co-opt a lot of youngsters who have ideas to give ideas directly to the Transforming India project of the Honorable Prime Minister. And when this tweet came in, we had a session at Delhi. He clearly said disruptive technologies such as blockchain and Internet of Things will have a profound impact in the way we live and work, and they will require rapid adoption in our workplaces. And immediately they convened a meeting, and after 2 years, we have come out with this discussion paper. I wish all the chartered accountants to go through this paper of Government of India, that is National Strategy for Artificial Intelligence. You will find a segment of blockchain, and blockchains are going to be used for solving. In fact, I was very happy when Mr. Narasimhan showed the Sustainable Development Goals. Let me tell you, the world of Sustainable Development Goals is going to be driven by blockchain technology. The 17 problems which the world today faces can be rectified, solved, and disrupted using the blockchain technology. And in fact, there are many forums which are working on the Sustainable Development Goals through the blockchain technology. Now, before we get into the blockchain, let's first understand what are the disruptions that happened in the past. It's very important to look at the hindsight and look at understanding what are the gaps that the technology solved. If you look at when the printing press was invented in 1400 AD, it solved the gap of knowledge. Knowledge gap was filled. And without books, you and I would not have got the intellectual capability today. That was a disruption in 1400s that the printing press brought. Post that, we had an industrial age in 1800 where laborers, all the laborers were exploited and all. That time, the disruption happened and we had the manufacturing company getting disrupted because of the machines, and we bridged the power gap. And later, in 1990s, you all remember about the bits and bytes. That time when the internet was introduced, we understood that there will be a disruption in information, but we never understood this will have a great impact on our lives. Today, it has filled the information gap. And one thing that is missing in internet is the trust aspect. Today, you see 3 important things. I hope most of them don't trust the government. Most of them don't trust the news channels. And 3, most of the products are fake on the internet. And these are because of the trust deficit. Now, for example, if a politician declares that he will solve the problem of poverty in the country, immediately the comment that comes is, it's only a political statement, because there is a trust deficit in the government that could come. And this trust deficit is what is going to be solved through blockchain technology. In fact, the trust is what is the main pillar behind building the blockchain technology. Now, how can this be done? What are the methodology that they are going to use? I'm going to take you through shortly. So for all this blockchain to blossom, he is the man from Japan. His name is Satoshi Nakamoto. So he was the person in 2008 who came out with this innovation. He came out with the research, and later somebody applied this technology, blockchain technology, in Bitcoin. And today, the entire the cryptocurrency and Bitcoin is a talk of the town. And he is the reason behind innovation. You should know who is the person who has innovated. This is the video I wanted to play you before you understand what is a blockchain.
Modern technology allows people to communicate directly. Voice and video calls, emails, pictures, and instant messages travel directly from A to B, maintaining trust between individuals no matter how far apart they are. When it comes to money, people have to trust a third party to be able to complete a transaction. Blockchain technology is challenging the status quo in a radical way. By using math and cryptography, blockchain provides an open, decentralized database of any transaction involving value, money, goods, property, work, or even votes, creating a record whose authenticity can be verified by the entire community. The future global economy will move towards one of distributed property and trust, where anyone with access to the internet can get involved in blockchain-based transactions, and third-party trust organizations may no longer be necessary. The uses of blockchain technology are endless. Some expect that in less than 10 years it will be used to collect taxes. It will make it easier for immigrants to send money back to countries where access to financial institutions is limited. Financial fraud will be significantly reduced, as every transaction will be recorded on a public and distributed ledger, which will be accessible by anyone who has an internet connection. Think of it as wills and contracts that execute themselves or dated proof of existence for ideas, much like a patent. Blockchain will become a global, decentralized source of trust, but not everyone is ready to embrace it. A huge proportion of trust services, from banking to notaries, will face challenges on price, volume, and in some cases, their very survival. Public authorities could find it more and more difficult to enforce traditional financial regulations due to the new possibilities offered by the Bitcoin network to bypass traditional financial intermediaries. Unimagined new networks will evolve to meet society's needs more cheaply and potentially more securely. Will governments, financial and legal institutions embrace blockchain? What will happen to the ones who don't?
So, this is the video to give you a fair idea about what is blockchain. Let me explain you. See, for example,
Modern technology allows people to communicate directly. Voice.
so the blockchain is basically a simple idea. Just take an example of a Wikipedia. Wikipedia is a database. It is an open platform. Somebody changes, immediately it is notified, and you can see who has changed it. Similar thing you apply in a blockchain. Let's assume for a minute, we are a group of people here. Let's assume in Muscat, we are a chartered accountant. We decide that we will have our own currency. Hypothetical situation. Decide that we'll have our own currency, and we decide that we'll come on a platform. And everything in the world is a ledger. Debit and credit, simple, right? So, and we decide that we will be on a block and we will be in a chain. So, we are connected. And for example, we transact business, and anything that you need to give to me, everybody will know. Anything I will give it to you, everybody will know. So, when I take back, this records comes as a layer by layer. So, I can go and check the history of the record from where I started, how it is evolving. Okay, this is a financial example from a financial idea, but this can be applied for farm, like for example, fruit. For example, I am a fruit seller. Let me apply the blockchain technology for a farmer also. I am a fruit seller. You go to a shop and you take a fruit and you see that it's an organic. Do you think it is really organic? And there are agencies which certify. There is a possibility that when you go to a shop, when you take the fruit, somebody would have printed the logo from the Google and stuck on it and waxed it and sells as if it is a fresh fruit. But you see it is organic, you consume it, and you pay premium also. But is there a verification model for that? You don't have. Let's assume for a minute, in a village I bring all the farmers together on a blockchain, and I put in a certifying authority for that organic product and place a QR code, and that product is available on the shop. If you go and if the shopkeeper says an organic and it is stuck, you go and scan the QR code, you can see what manure that farmer has used, what are the ingredients that has gone inside, what are the fertilizers he has used, and this will be authenticated by other farmers in that village. Please understand. It is a group of farmers. So that is a kind of a data authenticity that blockchain will provide. So don't get moved that blockchain is only for the finance, only for the financial sector. It has an implication beyond that. I'm going to take you through that shortly also, how the blockchain is now being adopted by the Dubai government and also by the Andhra Pradesh government in India, where the land records has also been brought under the blockchain technology. And Dubai government is very ambitious. By 2020, that they want to move all the government services into the blockchain technology. The vision of minimum government, maximum governance is also maximum real-time governance through blockchain technology. This is the essence and the message which I wanted to give before we understand. Now, what is the present problem in the internet era? There are a lot of manual processes. For example, let's assume that you want to register a land. Moment you want to register a land, what do? You go to multiple authorities. You go to the title authority. You go and check the mother deeds. You go and check in multiple places. Let's for a minute. And even though information is available in internet, still you have to go and do some manual process. Why are you doing the manual process? Because the authorities don't trust you and they need a notarized documents, and now let's assume this consumes a lot of time. It is expected that because of blockchain, the man hours invested in the papers will come down drastically across the organization and also in the government in the days to come. And lack of transparency. There is always a possibility that fake certificates can be produced, fake documents can be produced. For example, look at our own Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Somebody in Gujarat was not even a member of the institute, was signing around 400 tax audits. Now, how do we go and check? Let's assume he claimed, not now, before 5 years, he claimed himself to be a chartered accountant. He signed 400 tax audits. There was no idea that people believed he's a chartered accountant. He quoted some membership number. There was no verification model available. Look, for example, if the blockchain comes and he claims he's a chartered accountant. Today, somebody scans or is able to go and verify the blockchain, they will know the history, including the attempts he has taken in the examination for information. That's a kind of a trail we will have under the blockchain, and the trust is ensured in the days to come. Next, disorganized compliance data. Look at, for example, many times you keep producing the same data. Let me give you one example and say how blockchain will transform that area also. For example, you come to India, you come to the airport. First, the security checks you, your passport, and you enter your visa, and you enter. Again, while you go and get your boarding pass, again he checks your passport, and again he checks your visa, and that visa is a Xerox copy, don't forget that. And you come back, you go to the immigration, again he checks your passport, again he checks your visa, probably the visa will match whatever is there in the screen, and then you enter, again they'll check you. Security aspect is different from checking aspect. Why should you keep on checking the same document? It can be done in an automated manner, provided you walk in, automatically the verification happens, right? This need to be trusted. For that, developing the trust only, blockchain will help. And this will also transform the ease of living. We call it a difficulty of living today. Today we have ease of living that is going to come because of the blockchain. And siloed systems. Systems don't integrate. For example, the immigration system and crime records in India doesn't integrate, doesn't communicate. I don't know how many of them know. If that was the situation, you will not see so many people traveling to UK after doing some scams in India. So immigration records is different and crime records are different. So now let's assume if the blockchain is implemented in the Ministry of External Affairs in India, and it is also implemented in the Home Affairs, and they integrate together, when a crime is reported here, automatically it is reported to the immigration department. This kind of a transformation also will happen because it's going to be a trusted network. Now, how does a blockchain work? You saw that video, you would have understood a basic thing. Now, let's assume somebody requests a transaction. One thing that you should remember in blockchain is, don't try to understand the technology in deep manner. It's the role of the technology, guys. Our role is to understand how it functions, right? So now, I request a transaction. I will explain this with a banking transaction shortly, but just try to understand the terminologies. Terminologies are very, very important. As someone requests a transaction, the transaction is broadcast to peer-to-peer. I told you that, let's assume in the people who are in this conference, we interact peer-to-peer, right? And that peer-to-peer approval happens. That's called nodes. Using algorithm, that's called cryptography. That's called cryptography. Using algorithm, network of nodes validates the transaction and user status. And then, after verification, the transaction is combined with other transaction to create a new block of data for the ledger. Moment it is approved, moment it is verified, a new block is created. And after the block is created, after it is verified and approved by the peer-to-peer people, then the new block is then added to the existing blockchain in a way that is permanent and unalterable. The history will be there forever. And finally, the transaction is complete. Now, you may ask, there are some alterations that need to be done in the information. If I do, what will happen to the old record? The old record will not get deleted, will not get altered. A fresh and new blockchain comes over that. And why block? The terminology block is, every block is constructed, the history is there, trial is there, and anybody can look back how the modifications happened. Simple to explain you, go to the Facebook, you post a post. Later you modify it and edit it, what happens? You see the entire history. Similar thing you apply and understand in blockchain, the entire history will be there with the modification updation. And why is it called a chain? the chain is connected to the peers in the group. Very simple. In the chain, when any modification happens, everybody is notified. Everybody can see it. It is transparent. So nobody will have the guts to do fraud, and that is protected by the community. Now, blockchain is a community effort. It's a cooperative effort. All right. Now let me show you this process, and first I'll explain about how the e-commerce will be transformed with blockchain. Then I'll take you to the government, and finally how the auditing and accounting will be affected because of blockchain. First, in a online, when you order, what happens? You want to order some product. You are a buyer, there is an online seller. When you order, you have to pay in advance. After paying in advance, the order is placed, then the order is shipped to you. So shipment at the receival of payment. Let's assume for a minute, if you have paid and the product did not come, what will you do? You request the vendor, the e-commerce platform, to refund you. But when the blockchain is going to come and disturb this, you are not going to request. If he is not going to facilitate the shipment, automatically money will come to you, because it is the peer-to-peer. Simple. Can you look at the disruption? A simple disruption. Now let me take you through the next level in detail. Now you are a buyer. I showed a simple example, but it doesn't happen that way. I'm sure you all must be aware of Visa and PayPal, right? So you are a buyer. You pay money. You want to buy a product. You don't directly pay to the e-commerce vendor, to Amazon, or in India, for example, Flipkart or Alibaba, whatever it is. You don't directly pay. First, you have to go through a gateway. Why is this gateway required in the first place? You should question that. The gateway is required because you don't trust the vendor. You don't trust the vendor. To develop the trust only, we have a gateway and intermediaries. Now, for example, if the trust is assured, you can directly pay him in the bank. You can directly pay him in the account, but you don't do that. You go through an intermediary, because tomorrow if he does not honor your product, you can retrieve back the money from the intermediary. That's the entire reason we have the intermediary. All right. Now this PayPal requests payment from buyer's Visa. Then Visa initiates request for funds from the buyer's bank. Then buyer's bank transfers funds for clearing. Then post-clearing funds are sent to seller's bank account. Then PayPal confirms payment to the seller, and seller ships the goods. That is the reason it takes so much time. Now in case of the blockchain, if it is going to be connected in the peer-to-peer network, this is going to be fastened, and there is no requirement for intermediary. What is the incentive for that? At this juncture, the country, the federal bank and the reserve banks don't allow cryptocurrency as an official currency. In future, probably, in the days to come, 5 years or 7 years, by 2022, 2024, if the government recognizes value out of it, definitely when they recognize it, and what will happen? Every transaction will be a credit and debit of cryptocurrency along with a transaction. So that kind of ease of transaction will happen. Blockchain is about transaction. Blockchain is all about transaction. The World Economic Forum says it is a heartbeat. It's going to be the heartbeat of the financial sector. You know what will happen if the heart stops, right? So that is the kind of a transformation it will bring you. So now after the blockchain comes, what will happen? Now, for example, A wants to send money to B. Look at this transaction. He will send the money. The transaction is represented online as a block. Then the block is broadcasted to every party in the network. So the peer-to-peer interaction will happen. And then those in the network approve the transaction is valid. And it is legal also, right? People should not use the blockchain methodology or cryptocurrency for funding illegitimate activity. So the peer-to-peer network will take care of it, and the block then can be added to the chain, which provides an indelible and transparent record of transaction. Then finally, the money moves from A to B. Now, the one question that will come in your mind at this juncture, in the peer-to-peer network, if somebody does not accept, what will happen? This question will come to you. In the peer-to-peer network, it is not about approval or rejection. Please understand. It is about transparency. That's all. It's not. We are not asking approval from all the participants in the network. We are only demonstrating the transparency in the network, which will put the other party to act transparently and with the accountability. As simple as that. At this juncture, we are all coming together on blockchain. Later, the entire country will come in the blockchain. So, it is all with the government over a period of time to use this technology in the days to come. Now, how can the blockchain transform the economy? Blockchain has a great role in the government. In fact, post this session, I would request the Muscat chapter of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India to come out with a white paper and present it to the Oman government, maybe through the Indian embassy, about the ideas how blockchain can transform Oman economy itself. That will give you great value addition for the chartered accountants here. Let me take you through that. Look at this man. He's a farmer. This farmer is a great entrepreneur. In fact, we all go to the management institutes and think we are management gurus and management experts. But a farmer actually applies about 100 management techniques in his farm. And this farmer his life is filled with uncertainty, risk. Now, first uncertainty. Let me take you through this and you will understand blockchain forever. If I make you understand through financial sector, you will not understand. Through a farmer, you will understand because every day you are eating food and his life is important. Now, what happens for this farmer? In India, take for example Ramaya, who is there, is near in Tamil Nadu, there is a place called Kanjipuram. He lives near there. This Ramaya cultivates paddy and some vegetables. And he goes to the market, tries to sell that, but the price of the product is very low. So he got upset and he came back. And he already lost money in his business. And next day he thinks, okay, let me try some other crop or the product in the days to come. So next day he goes and finds a local politician claiming that that land of farmer, it is his land. How did it happen? Ramaya thinks, how did it happen? He started thinking and he was afraid. How can it happen? Because the title deed of that property is in the name of that farmer. But that patta is in the name of the politician. Please understand. Patta is a concept where it is given by the local tahsildar, but patta is in that politician name. Now, this confusion is not a loss to the politician who is threatening the farmer. It is a loss to the farmer. Please understand. His time is wasted for resolving it. So he immediately goes to the tahsildar office, the government office, and says, look, this is my land and this man has got the patta. Please transfer the patta to my name. What will happen? You know what has happened in some of the governments around the world. Formally, constitution was created. Informally, bribery institutions also has blossomed. Now this government office will say, please pay me this much money. I will transfer the patta in your name. My dear friends, this is a story that you should understand. Economists are all looking at formal economies only, formal institutions only. And nobody is trying to explore the informal institutions created. It was Douglas North, who is a Nobel laureate, who went on to research about the new institutions of economics. And then he concluded, this kind of informal economy can be disrupted only through technological institution. And today, a blockchain is a solution available to transform this farmer. I will tell you how Andhra Pradesh government transformed this farmer's life, farmers like him in Andhra Pradesh. What they did, they implemented blockchain for agriculture land records. Now what happens? When agricultural land records are brought under blockchain, what happens? All the farmers will participate. All the farmers will participate. And they come under the peer-to-peer network. When they come under the peer-to-peer network, what they do is, they integrate the title deed of the property with the patta records. And now, let's assume for a minute, this politician in the blockchain scenario goes to the government office, pays money to the government official, and says, please change the patta name to my name. When the farmer is holding it, what will happen? If he tries to do, it will be notified to the entire peer-to-peer group. Entire peer-to-peer group, if the chief minister or any of the ministers participating in the peer, what will happen? He will also be notified. And that's a kind of a transparency. Today, blockchain is bringing in. You have very many questions. How this will be implemented? At this stage, blockchain is in infancy. The way internet was there before 40 years. Please understand. At that time, you didn't ever even imagine that today smartphones will come. Similarly, we just have to follow up the technology in the days to come to transform. Second impact that the blockchain can bring and government can use it for farmers is the cultivation methodology. Today, what's happening in a day, 23 farmers suicide in India. And if the blockchain comes, why they are suiciding? Because cost of cultivation is very high. So Mahindra and Mahindra is now looking at bringing blockchain technology to farmers, where they are trying to leverage the tractors as a common tractor for all the farmers who are going to be in the blockchain. Look at, if they are going to be the blockchain, Mahindra will lease out the blockchain to the blockchain holder. So the contract of the tractor will be within the blockchain holder and the tractor. So whoever wants to have the tractor should book the tractor through the blockchain. They will participate in the peer-to-peer. Once this is achieved, land also can be integrated and contract farming can also be taken up. That is going to be the future of the governments in transforming the life of the farmers. Finally, the third important thing, how the government can implement blockchain. For example, before the Honorable Prime Minister came into India, the digitization has already happened. A lot of people got Jan Dhan account, Aadhaar and mobile. But the problem is, people did not know how to use the technology in banking. Today, for example, take this farmer. He is having a bank account. Government of India directly credits the money, whatever they are supposed to give. But this farmer compromises the password. For example, you also compromise the password. Most of the time, what you do, you log into the laptop, you put www.gmail.com, automatically it enters into the inbox. You never log out. Similarly, many of your products in your home, you actually use the passwords given by the product vendor. You can go and check. In the Internet of Things scenario, most of them don't even change and configure the passwords given by the seller. They just use it by default the same password. Password 1, password 123. You don't even configure your own password. So that issue is still there. Look at the farmers, what they will do when they have the bank account, they can compromise and people can defraud them. But in case of a blockchain technology, when it is going to emerge, and what will happen, it is going to be known by the peer-to-peer network and it can be retrieved back. The transparency is there, it is immutable, and second is it cannot be tampered. Even if you tamper, the records are going to be there. This kind of an authenticity and integrity is going to be there as part of the digital India or the digitization of the bank accounts also. Why I am giving this user cases is because this will apply squarely in any economy to transform the country. Before I get into the auditing and accounting fraternity, what is the impact? Dubai government has actually floated a ministry for artificial intelligence, first step. 2, Arabian Chain is a company which is now working closely with the government of Dubai in bringing the blockchain into the government department. And 2020, it's going to be completely automated and blockchain is going to play a major role in the Dubai government. In fact, one of the statements I saw is, no government is the best government. In the sense, if the government intervention and intrusion is not there, that is the best government that the leaders can offer. That's what the blockchain that's the vision of the blockchain and the technology. Now let me come to the Bitcoin later. Now what happens in India? India is very cautious because India is a large country. Any country is cautious about the Bitcoin, and the Honorable Finance Minister is clear. He said clearly in 2018 budget, Bitcoin is not a legal tender in India. The government is awaiting for a report of expert on cryptocurrencies before taking any decision. But nevertheless, he clearly said the government will also explore the use of blockchain technology for ushering in digital economy. After this statement only, the national artificial intelligence strategy came, and you will see the blockchain, how it is going to be transforming India. Beyond all these things, your profession and our profession is going to have a complete transformation in the days to come. There's in fact, transformation in what? And new roles will come. You need to understand the new technology. Just the way you read for the Chartered Accountancy final, you might have to reinvent your careers in the days to come, and that's going to definitely happen. Let me apply the blockchain for accounting. Until now, accounting is a double entry system of accounting. Your higher secondary teacher taught you about the golden rules of accounting. You never question why it is debit and credit, and then you progressed in your career. The time has come to question the double entry system of accounting. My dear friends, blockchain is going to introduce some concept called triple entry system of accounting. Debit and credit, the third entry is on the blockchain. Debit and credit, the third entry is on the blockchain. And There are certain challenges in double entry. What was the challenges? The current regime relies upon managers to swear that their books are in order. You know what happened in AAG, Lehman Brothers? If it was in order, how can there be a debacle? If Satyam's accounting books were in order, how can there be a scam? Right? So, the double entry system of accounting has proved itself to be not okay. That is the reason the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India also has an audit opinion where it is true and fair. The days will come where it's going to emerge as true and correct. The responsibility will come on the chartered accountant. It might come because of the blockchain that might intervene in our profession. New rules such as Sarbanes-Oxley have done little to curb accounting fraud. Even after the SOX regulation in US, still frauds happen in US. And traditional accounting methods cannot reconcile new business models. OECD, Organization for Economic and Cooperation Development, has actually coming out with challenges in the digital economy. The new business models, people are not able to understand how the business models are emerging. When the new business models are going to be tagged with the digitalization, there need to be a trust that is required. The trust will be ensured by the blockchain technology. Now let me show you how the accounting will happen. Now first, current system is the asset is equal to liabilities plus equity. We all know this. And challenges is time consuming, manual and error prone. Fraud, people may manipulate over here to get opportunity as no third parties involved. Auditing difficulty, double entry accounting records are difficult to audit and costly. And IFRS has made it more difficult, right? Now, this is the man whom you should look at in the days to come. Probably, you should invite him to Muscat chapter of ICAI to have a session with him. Is Ian Grigg in 2005. He said there will be two books. Let's assume there is Alice and Bob. The third book is a public book. The third book will be a public book. In this public book, who will participate? Very simple. In a blockchain, block plus chain. In the chain, your stakeholders will be there. Your stakeholders, who are your stakeholders? Your vendors, your customers, your bankers, your auditors, and if your wife is a director in your company, she has to definitely be there. In the sense, why I'm putting across this point is all the stakeholders who are concerned with the business will be brought under this network. And when it is brought in the peer-to-peer conversation, you will not have the guts to manipulate the books of accounts. You will not have the facilities to even manipulate, because even if you manipulate or cook the books, it will be visible in the blockchain. So there is a safeguard available in the triple entry system of accounting. So transaction go through a contract in real time maintained by a third party agent or entry which both parties connect to and agree. So let me put in a simple way how the accounting will change. This session itself is about 8 hours, how the accounting is getting transformed under blockchain. But let me give you through one slide. Adam, Etain. Let's assume Adam sends a request for payment, and Etain Inc. agrees and makes payment request over network. So he will have his own ledger, private ledger. He will have his own private ledger. The third entry will be in the blockchain ledger. So both of them will be interacting and communicating. And when that entry happens, all the stakeholders will know. Immediately the question that will come from the chartered accountants is that what happens to the confidentiality? What happens to the privacy of the corporation? My dear friends, in a corporation with the stakeholders, there's nothing called privacy. That is the reason you have corporate governance. A privacy may be for you, individual, but for a corporate, you are an organization who are responsible towards your stakeholders. And this facility of blockchain will open up your company. So whistleblowers may not be required in the days to come, because anyway the entry is captured here. Any alteration you do, it will be traced back. So accounting is going to transform. And whichever chartered accountant and accounting fraternity is going to have a startups under blockchain, it is tough, but in the days to come, it will definitely transform over a period. It is a distributed ledger. Okay, let me not, yeah. Now immediately the next question will come from the chartered accountant fraternity. It will be very costly to maintain. Infrastructure will be very costly to maintain. I'm going to prove you how the benefits are going to be more in blockchain compared to your traditional accounting. First, yes, definitely your maintenance cost in the distributed ledger is going to be high, because you have to bring all your stakeholders together. I get to understand from Mr. Subramaniam, I was just meeting him before 2 days. I had a meeting with him. He said, Muscat is going to, Oman is going to adopt VAT. When the VAT is going to come, it's very simple. Your stakeholders are connected already. Your vendor is connected to you. Your customer is connected to you. Otherwise, he will not be eligible to take input tax credit, my dear friends. Already is connected in the system in the days to come. That means in the GST, in the VAT scenario. So, bringing all the stakeholders into the distributed ledger is definitely costly, but it's worth over a period of time to ensure that your confidence of the stakeholder increases. 2, intermediation cost. Today you see so many banks in the intermediary, so many requirements. For example, as a chartered accountant, you keep on sending the confirmation to your creditors. Do you think that the confirmations are original confirmation and the confirmation will not directly come to you? So your client receives the confirmation. Do you think when the client gives you the confirmation, it is original confirmation? Who knows? God only knows. But hereafter, blockchain will know. Hereafter, the blockchain will know. And transparency, yes, distributed ledger will give transparency. And of course, it's not much in central ledger. Security. So the benefits outweigh the traditional accounting. Definitely, triple entry system of accounting is going to have a greater usage in the days to come. So, benefits of the distributed ledger and the blockchain for the accountants: data privacy, eliminating human error, fraud minimization, accountability, immutability, greater efficiency, cryptographically secure, simplified reconciliation, automated reporting, instant transaction, strengthening GST or VAT implementation in the days to come. Now, accounting fraternity is now reinventing. How is it going to affect the auditing fraternity? Right? Now, everything is in the blockchain. What is the role of the auditor? So, there is a methodology being developed under the blockchain. Big Fours are now investing big time. In Australia, robos are now doing audits in one of the Big Fours. They're in the process of piloting the project, and in the days to come, so audits will be intervened and intruded by the robos, and over a period, this may become automated with the blockchain. And now, what is your role and my role in case of the current audit process? Each audit is a costly exercise. You know, when the auditors are coming on the client side, the entire client focuses on the auditor. Focus on the auditor's welfare. They will tell you not to be there in the office. They'll ask you 100 times how many juices you want. They try to divert your attention, but hereafter these things will not happen to divert your attention because you're focused on blockchain in the days to come in the new audit scenario. 2, blockchain accounting could help drastically slash cost of accounting and compliance. Over a period, it will slash the accounting and compliance requirement, and it will also cut down the time involved in auditing. Evolve into auditor function, opinion on reasonableness and accuracy of a company's financial statements. Transaction already confirmed as true and accurate. Please understand, the transactions are confirmed as true and accurate with both parties having agreed. Third party reconfirmation not needed. Not needed because they're already in the peer-to-peer network on the blockchain. You need not again roll out a confirmation, send it by the post, and then get the confirmation back. It's online. Solves trust problem, prevents improper management of financials. Cooking the books can never happen. XBLR organization already researching. Already XBLR is there. You will also in the future make the XBLR authorities be part of your blockchain for accounting, because XBRL is also a stakeholder for your business, because it's a government authority where you file the financial statements of your company. So, how it will happen? The auditing procedure, I'm not getting into the auditing standard. Auditing standards itself will change. IFAC itself is looking at what are the new auditing standards they can bring under the blockchain technology. IFRS Foundation is also looking at what are the challenges that the blockchain accounting will bring in the days to come. Accounting standards will be disrupted in the days to come. Now let me explain you. So record keeping, original record is there, and every record has a hashtag. Now I'm introducing the technology behind it, the cryptography. In digital signature and all you would have heard, I'm sure you must be using a digital signature. So there is an hashtag to every transaction. The hashtags are provided, and what the auditor will do, search for the identical hashtag string and check whether that hashtag string which is provided by the client is there in the blockchain. If it is there, you are rest assured that the records are not tampered. You just have to see records are, whether it is as per the accounting standard or whatever, the rules and regulations, that's all. So the hashtags are going to be the hash strings are going to be the hashtags or hash strings are going to be the future of auditing facilitation. Then hashing ensures that the original information cannot be seen by third party. Hash string is embedded in the blockchain. Search for the hash string in the blockchain. If search is successful, record must have remained unmodified. And then later you just have to go and do the presentation of your financial statement or check whether the financial statement presentation is appropriate. That's all. That's going to be the role of the auditing fraternity. And what are the benefits? Audit becomes complete. We all know about the assertions of audit called CEA VOP: completeness, existence, accuracy, valuation, obligation, presentation. And this will be squarely ensured by the blockchain. Completeness will happen, accuracy will be ensured, finance business partnering in any way happens, your stakeholders are connected. Regulatory compliance, regulators also will engineer their system to integrate with your system in the days to come. In fact, in the blockchain world, both government and the organization will be traveling parallelly to innovate. And audit timing and audit true and fair view itself will undergo a change in the days to come. True and fair view, the true and fair view itself will undergo in the days to come, and the audit report will undergo in days to come. It's an exciting time for the auditing fraternity, accounting fraternity, and the finance fraternity, and nobody can understand the ledger like a chartered accountant. So it's the role of a chartered accountant to understand right now on blockchain. So tax professionals, don't think the tax professionals are saved. Accounting, auditing over, tax professional. And tax professional, virtual real-time access to the ledgers. Look, for example, if the government knows your entire turnover, where's the question of you filing the return with a different turnover? So real-time access by the government authority is possible, and cut down on cost of compliance will be happening because it's online. Look at, for example, India today. GST, after GST coming in, many chartered accountants said in 2017, I never agreed to that point. 600 times the revenue of the chartered accountant will improve in India. That's what the statement told by one of the chartered accountant in a meeting. I said it can never happen because the government is looking at ease of doing business. And only when the difficulty of doing business is there, they will approach a chartered accountant. And now here, the return filing in India is now, Kirana fellow is now doing it, I'm telling you today. And the chartered accountant is asking doubt to the Kirana shop vendor, how to fill the input tax credit. That's a kind of an expertise the people are developing today on the compliance scenario, and this is going to have a greater impact if it's happening in India. Oman is not an exception, or Australia is not an exception, or US is not an exception. That's the point I wanted to make. So minimize fraud, automated auditing, reduced time in tax remittance. And over a period, what will happen? The government also will become accountable to you because you are remitting a tax, you don't know how the tax money is used. But later, the government will evolve to a situation where through blockchain, peer-to-peer participation, and immutable records, they will tell you how the money, what you pay to the government is being used with respect to development of the country. That's a kind of a transformation the blockchain will have. So there are so many companies are already started. Please understand, in Oman, some of the companies are exploring it. I'm sure that some of the companies are exploring it. And Dubai is doing it, Australian companies. Japan has already come out with an authority for blockchain. They've already come out with the guidance how to audit in a blockchain environment. You should go through that reports and understand how the profession will transform. Our Institute of Chartered Accountants of India woke up recently in the last year, and they have come out with a concept paper on blockchain technology. And that need to be understood in the times to come. The opportunity for us is awaiting. It's $1 million opportunity, provided we stay ahead of the curve. That's very, very important. So use cases, these are the financial services company, these are the places, KYC norms you can use it, and e-identity, marketplace, crowdfunding, asset transfer, capital markets, everywhere you can use the blockchain technology, wherever there is a requirement of trust. In future, in the days to come, you will find a lot of trust companies emerging out of blockchain, trust companies, who are there to provide the trust as a quotient. So Australian Stock Exchange for clearing and settling trades, they are trying to adopt. NASDAQ has tried to adopt the blockchain already. Sweden government, Japan government, Japan Exchange Group has started. And when the blockchain is emerging, what will happen? Like stock exchanges, block exchanges will come. You know what happens to the investor community? Investor community will immediately wake up and they will come out with the innovation, the capital market, where they will say whichever blockchain company is performing well in the trust quotient, that will have more value. And these are the emerging ideas that's going to happen in the days to come. Moscow Exchange, Indian Stock Exchange, now India's National Stock Exchange conducted a blockchain trial with leading banks like IDFC, Kotak Mahindra, ICAI, Ind and RBL, as well as HDFC Securities. It's in the pilot mode only. I'm very happy. The chairman, the leadership of Muscat chapter of ICAI took up this topic in the current year, and it's a right time that you have indicated and sensitized. And the days to come, try to have a tab on this ideas of blockchain, because it is going to disrupt your career and the future career, and beyond that, economy is going to be transformed. So, some of the financial accounting services. In conclusion, I foresee that in India, in 2019, in the 100 days task what the Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi has given to which he is foreseeing to implement, he has said he is visioning to have separate ministry for artificial intelligence in India. And for information, in the Ministry of Finance, today an economist is not leading the Ministry of Finance. A technology guy is leading the Finance Ministry as a Finance Secretary. So, economics is only a research area now of the government. The leadership of the governments are also emerging from the technology area. You can't just say, I'm a tax professional, I don't understand technology. You can't just say, I'm only a lawyer, I don't understand the technology. You can't just say, I'm an auditor and technology is distant from you. Hereafter, you should speak the language of the technology. And this is going to transform the humanity in the first place. Because the trust is the deficient thing in Kali Yuga. People who understand the terminology, Kali Yuga is one of the yugas where trust is the deficiency, which will be filled by blockchain. This is the message I wanted to give you. And the litigation scenario today is bad. For example, in India today we have 3.5 crore cases pending. Why should it be pending? Because you have laws which are loopholes. Let's assume for a minute the blockchain is implemented in the litigation or the courts of India. It can speed up the trial process, and the litigation also can fasten up with a trust and through a peer-to-peer network and cryptography. So many roles, so many opportunities, and 19th century was an opportunity for Europeanization. 20th century was an opportunity for Americanization. 21st century is surely Asianization. And in Asia, Indian people are going to lead the transformation around the world. There's no doubt about it. And Oman is an example where the Indian community is transforming the economy, and you are contributing to the goal of the economy. So we are quite confident that we are sitting here in 20 years, we will be talking about blockchain technology the way we talk about the internet today. Mark Anderson says it. And before I conclude, we all think these concepts have come with the latest ideation. Swami Vivekananda was a great thinker from Asia who clearly said modern humanity to combine Western science and materialism with India's spiritual culture for a sustainable civilization. This is the real science of a religion. Two important aspects. He says clearly, Western science, when? In 19th century. With what? The spiritual value. What is spiritual value? The spiritual value is the trust. Today, it is coming as an avatar through blockchain. So, and not only that, the blockchain is an innovation from eastern part of the world, that is Japan, right? So these are the new ideas that is coming in. This inspiration will definitely transform the humanity in the days to come. This is my contact details. You can definitely touch base with me. Many of the members are already in touch base. If you want any clarity, I will take a few questions. I hope I'm on time. Okay. Thank you so much.